Once again, we are back. And hopefully, we can get some people to actually weigh in on this particular topic of becoming more knowledgeable, part two. I'm glad that the people that found it. I'm speaking to the people that's listening to the replay. Hopefully, the people who listen to the first one, it wasn't that long. It was about 45 minutes. Not too bad. But it was a lot of things chopped up in it. What's going on, James? What's going on with you? I might take calls. It depends. It depends. It all depends. What's going on, Dre Chili? Yeah, you was leading with phenomenal areas that the public needed to hear about. So I know I got to give it some time, but if any of you brothers want to chime in, I will open up the hotline and we can get a more divisive conversation going about this particular topic. Hopefully, everyone's night's going well and swell. I done had to do some shoveling here in Minnesota. I don't like it, but it comes with living here. So I guess I can't complain too much. Okay, patching you in. Matter of fact, okay, you hear that, James? Now, if you want to jump in and add something, you can too. I can patch you in as well. Let me get everything linked up so we can get to speaking on this subject. Let me see. Where? Come on. So you get so many calls, you got to scroll through the call log and like, man, well, I got to go about it another route. I can't find it. Let me see. There we go. Yep, I'm there. What's going on with you?
All is well. How you been? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute.
Yeah, this is a very important subject, man. I think that, as you mentioned earlier, the 2020s, it needs to be a decade of further enlightenment and learning amongst the melanated people, man. Because just some of the stuff that you was talking about earlier is some very important laws that they're going to be passing. And I don't think that we, as melanated people, do a good job of researching and consistently reading and seeing what it is that we're going to be coming up against,
Right.
you know, going forward. You mentioned the Patriot Act, and Chris Hedges is a journalist who actually sued Obama back in 2012 because the Defense Authorization Act, what that did was it basically made it to where all of the cell phones, all of the social media, all of that stuff is regulated. We already know that.
Right.
And it's controlled to a degree in which the information, only thing they have to do is say, well, we suspect that this person might be a domestic terrorist or have some type of, quarrel against the United States government. And then basically, hey, like I said earlier, take your ass to a black site, and you never heard from again. I mean, people think that, when all of these people come up missing, that they just coming up missing for no apparent reason. They didn't pull a lot of people up off of the streets and off of the internet that people were like, hey, I wonder what happened to that person. And then we find out 30 years, 35 years, this person been sitting in a black site prison or something,
Right.
because he or she might have had some ideologies or from some philosophies that the United States government felt was a big threat, man. So, but other than that, I just wanted to come in and, open up saying that, though. How you been? How's everything? You said you
Everything.
got some snow.
Yeah, done got some snow, probably about maybe 2 or 3 inches. Nothing real major, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that's light for the Twin Cities.
right, it is.
I remember that snow. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Anything really over 6 inches, man. You now you gotta, get the shovel and throw the salt down and everything like that. But
Right. But see, you living it up. You out in Arizona, so you don't have to see any of that out there.
yeah, well, it get cold now. That's one of the biggest misconceptions, man. The desert, it get cold
Oh,
out
I
there.
know the
So,
desert get cold, but
oh
I'm saying you
yeah,
don't have to deal with that.
oh yeah, the snow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, gotta. At most, you just gotta kind of heat the car up. You want that engine to crank in a little bit, especially if you leave. Sometimes you leave the house in like the morning or something like that. But other than that, yeah, you're right about that. Occasionally, just defog the windshield, but nothing like defog, then shovel your car out, and none of that. Not no
Right.
more. But
Right.
yeah,
Now I was gonna
yeah.
say I see his channel didn't pop back up, Real Black's channel, so that must mean that the people over in the Oprah office didn't sign off on you know taking that strike down or removing
Oh
it.
man, he's a big threat. That whole channel was a big threat from what you had mentioned earlier. I mean, he had some of the most informative interviews with brother Dick Gregory, as well as I believe he had a couple of them with the judge as well, similar to you. And yeah, he had mentioned that you know that his channel was being taken down for copyright violation. But as I said earlier, everybody else can use that whole, free speech and, educational or the fair use and all of that,
Right.
the Copyright Act. So that's what's, crazy about that, that you guys, they take down a man's whole channel off of a copyright strike. Come on, man.
Right. Like I said, is bigger than that. It's the content that he had. It's the conversation, hours, not just like maybe 15 minutes or so, hours of conversation with the late great Dick Gregory. Speaking on things that not too many people are aware of. So
Oh man. And for them to just, everybody else they usually get a warning. But if he was talking about, the stupid stuff, the gang banging, the toting guns and doing this, that, and the third, and the ignorant shit that they want us to engage in, oh, no problem. He could, yeah, it's fair use all day. But he had like, hopefully he was able to. I'm quite sure he got all of his stuff archived on like a hard drive or something. But hopefully he can get his channel back and that's even if we got to start exploring some new avenues and overly some other additional platforms will be coming out, man. That because YouTube, man, it's with the shadow banning and everything like that. I didn't even know about that until somebody had mentioned that to me in one of my comments and said, "Dre, you shadow banned," and I was like, "What the hell is shadow ban?" And that might be, I don't know if you're familiar with the term, but
oh, I
that
am.
might. Oh, so yeah, dude hit me today. He was like, "Yeah, man. So if you're familiar with the whole shadow banning, man, going forward, man, like you said, it's all algorithm, it's all artificial intelligence anyway. So
Right.
they definitely don't want anybody that got a positive message to be seen in that type of light."
That's
And then
true.
just thinking like all of the AdSense money, a lot of people that was, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, making money off the Google AdSense, all of that then stopped. You know, you got people that got videos with 2, 3 million views on it, and they saying that they might get a check for $800, $900. So
Right.
I mean, it's it, it's all politicized now. It's all corporate, man. It's a corporate takeover, yo.
Exactly, because if you see the channels that are promoted within your feed now, it's either a lot of cable channels, it's either a lot of celebrities, reality show type people that they could kind of have contracts with, essentially. Like, okay, you're gonna follow this script and you're not gonna deviate from it. See, actual creators like you and me, if someone come with us with a script, it's like, well, I'll say me, I'll speak for myself. Someone tell me I gotta do this and I'll be allotted all this. I'm not signing up for that. To
Right,
me that's fake. It's
right.
not genuine, and it's almost like, yeah, I could say a little bit of truth, but then I gotta mix it with bullshit. But so to me that's all turns into poison. You know.
No doubt, because it's somebody else is controlling a narrative. I mean, if we on YouTube and we using our platform, so we could be able to control our own narrative, and and like you said, you earlier, you ain't talking from no script, because when you coming from a script as opposed to just off top, that's kind of like essentially faking it as well, right there,
Right.
you know. So, when you coming off the top of your dome, these are fresh thoughts. And, this is usually how a person feels, and it ain't crafted or edited. So, yeah, man. I mean, going forward, man, hopefully we hopefully I don't foresee it happening, but hopefully a lot of our content don't start getting banned to the point to where it's like they not even given a good enough excuse or a reason to why our stuff can't be uploaded. They just revised. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Google just revised their whole YouTube policy and stuff like that as it relates to content creators. Did you get that message? They sent out an email about a week ago.
Yeah, yeah, I seen it.
Yeah, and it's like certain words are prohibited now, certain images. I said, oh man, so it's like, we at that level now, but a lot of that stuff I expect to take place in the 2020. So that goes along the line of the title of your video becoming more knowledgeable, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, because I noticed even if I use, say, Professor Ken's real, what he was known to go by, they'll flag that video off top because they say, oh, wait a minute, what's he talking about? No, this is what he goes by. So why are you flagging my video because this is pertaining to this particular individual?
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's at a point, it's like that what a lot of people that might at one point had an image. Now that everybody is on to something positive and people are trying to take their life story and do something positive with it, they want us to be on these channels promoting stuff that's going to send a lot of these young brothers to jail. And the fact that you're not promoting that and you're not doing that, that's a threat, to the establishment, because,
Mm-hmm.
they really want them numbers. They really want, them privatized prisons. Last communication we had, I think I talked about that, how out here in Arizona, they got a new, it's supposed to be a 4,800 prison that it's not Corrections Corp no more. They changed their name to something else. I can't think of their name, what they changed their name to now, but I know you're familiar with Correction Corps of America, CCA.
Right, right, right.
They it's a little small town called Wilcox out here. And you figure they got 4,800 beds, man. So all of this stuff, man, all of this stuff. And as I mentioned earlier, the DMV out here, they put out the attorney general has said, oh no, the artificial intelligence that we use for the photographs at the DMV is just so we can make sure that people aren't trying to get fake IDs, but we're not selling the information. And then the FBI put out a report that was basically contradicting everything he said, and had said that no, we got the authority to run the checks on any state information because we're the feds. So,
Right.
oh man, so well, I mean, what can we do going forward, man?
Because
We've been a police state now.
hold on a second, Dre. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Call from James.
You there, James?
Yeah, man, I'm here, man. What's going on?
What's going on? You still there, Dre?
Oh yeah, what's up? How you doing, James, bro?
Oh man, good, man. Just doing these long hours at work, man. Just trying to get it all together, man.
No doubt.
Now, what do you want to add to the conversation, James?
Yeah, man. Just listen to the platform, man, and listen to the brothers speak, man. I just been watching my little documentaries, man, like 13th and how they talk about the privatized prison systems and everything like that, and also listening to Edward Snowden when he was talking about the cell phones, man, and how the government tapping into our phone conversations and stuff like that, man. So this is well put information that we need to be informed with, man, and it's just like automation, man. I'm at work today, man, and I'm seeing people using the automations like the checkout line, and people don't even know how to use it, man. It's freaking crazy.
Hmm.
There's certain things that I just pay attention to, man, and that people just unaware of, and they just want to go to their lives, man, and just not pay attention to certain things that's going on and certain things that's being implemented in our lives, especially with the prison systems, man, and credit cards and things of that nature, man. Even the food that we eat, you know.
Right. Yeah,
No doubt.
it's a lot of things that are coming online that definitely shows that we're no longer living within the past. You figure you could have your phone, put up to their what is that thing? Usually where you swipe your credit card or put your chip in.
Oh, Samsung Pay or
Yeah,
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 Apple Pay, all
right,
of that. Yeah.
right,
Oh yeah. Same thing with a TV now, Reek. Like um, my aunt had got a TV for Black Friday, so I go over and help her put it together and everything. It's one of them smart TVs and
right.
whatnot, right? So she can't even watch the TV. Check this out. You can't even watch the TV without checking off to their privacy agreement, and then it's a consent and privacy agreement, and then you got to download the smart TV app in order to watch a Samsung smart TV. So I
Mm,
said, wait a second, check this out. I said, you do you realize what this is? And she said, no. Well, I got the app, but I said, did you read the privacy statement? And she like, no, that's all just verbiage. I said, no, you don't. You don't know what you signing off on. It could have anything in here where Samsung say, well, we reserve our right to sell the information, or to collect information from law enforcement or whoever if you do anything on your television. So we go through the privacy statement and everything, man. It's all types of shit that people basically just sign away in regards to like the FCC. All of these cell phones, these televisions is all regulated by the FCC, and it's all wired in, through databases.
right,
All of it. It's all wired in, and cell towers. That's why people talk, oh, you on 5G and everything like that. But you got to think 5G is essentially all artificial intelligence. Because when the last time you actually seen them put up a 5G tower? That's all satellite communications, not
right,
tower based.
right.
Man, we in control. Then I got one more thing to add real quick, and I'll let somebody else chime in. I was at the post office today, to kind of touch on what James was saying. I was at the post office today renewing my P.O. box, and the lady was telling me, she's like, you need any stamps or anything? I was like, no, I'm cool on the stamps and whatnot. But she was like, well, this year we're in talks to get back into banking. I said, when was what do you mean get back into banking? She was like, yeah, this will be the United States Post Office wants to become like a one-stop shop to where you can set up a checking account and get money orders. Because a lot of people don't know you can get cash back at the post office, money orders, and just about everything. So I say, now why would I want to get an actual account, a checking account with the United States government? And she goes, well, some people have already expressed a lot of interest in it. So that goes to show everybody, man, we really about to be underneath this corporate state. We really are.
Right.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about that, when you said about you know, you could get postal money orders. A lot of people don't know when you get a postal money order, it's different than like say you go to like Wells Fargo or Bank of America. They got their own division to cover that in case something happens to that. Like say someone says, "Oh, I didn't get the postal money order." They got their own division that handles that. That really dives into that where essentially the fraud division that covers that. So it's more if you want to make sure something is more secure, get a postal money order.
So
They can't.
they got like their own insurance department that's
Right,
covering
right.
it.
Essentially, their own federal police that cover that. So yeah,
Wow. See the things that we learn, man. But as James has said, man, a lot of people just go through their life.
yeah, and then
You're not paying attention, man. Because I was at the bank, I think like last week. I'm at the bank, I'm using the ATM, and I'm looking at it like my card is not working. So I go inside the bank, speak to the teller, and the teller is telling me that the bank actually ran out of money, man. The bank where I go to ran out of money, so they had to fill it. Everybody just sitting around, waiting around until the armor truck pulled up and fucking filled the money up, man. And it's like money is about to be obsolete. Everything is about to be credit cards. Everything. You know what I'm saying? Especially what's going on in these other countries, man. So what goes on in the other countries, the UK or whatever the hell, it also affects us too, man.
yeah, think about it like
I don't
this.
know.
It's like think about it in China and like you said, UK. They're test running what will finally come here. Just like I remember back in '98, they were saying people were paying with their cell phones back in '98 over in Japan and stuff like that. Well, we can do that now here, but look how long it took to come here. So
Mm.
they work out all the bugs over there first, and then they bring the technology over here.
It's like he was saying about the money, man. A lot of people don't even know. I remember you had made a comment, or it was a post comment that you had made, Rick, in regards to money and everything. A lot of people don't know, man. Unless you got gold or silver, that's real money. Everything else is just fiat,
Yeah,
paper
fiat
currency,
currency. Yeah,
just fiat, man. So we gotta start, investing in, go get $100 worth of silver if you got it. Periodically, go get, gold is about 1,200. That's the spot price, for a little ounce. But go get you some gold and get you some silver, man, because I don't care what nobody say. It's going to be one day where the United States default on all of this money that we, owe all of these other countries and stuff, man. You want to have some type of, money metal that
right.
can be exchanged and stuff, man.
Yeah, I always after it's called when you pay yourself, you get paid, you pay yourself a portion. I always usually buy so many silver coins and put them off to the side, because
Ooh, you're doing it right.
because gold coins,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'd be good to buy gold, but gold, like you said, it costs a
Gold is
lot.
expensive
You're
right
right.
now. Yep. So, because,
Right,
yeah.
because I'm reading a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and he also was emphasizing like, no matter what you do, pay yourself first. I don't care if your bill's late or whatever that's going on in your life. Pay yourself first, man. And throughout the end of the year, you will see how much money that you definitely have at the end of the year, man. As you fluctuate, you know what I'm saying? But people is stuck in that reciprocity mindset, that cheap mindset, is that they don't do that. They want to pay all of their bills first, or be cheap without even spending their money on the things that they really need, instead of the Jordans or clothes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, they don't want to invest their money, or they don't even want to go in business with nobody else. They scared. They scared to make
Scared.
that leap.
And in particular, us as melanated people, man, we scared to kind of really work with each other and put together business plans and stuff like that. We got to get out of that fear-based
Hold on a
mentality.
second. Keep talking, Dre. Hold up.
Call from
This is Malik, Rick.
Tick.
With your stuff, you got to love yourself enough to say, well, I want to take some of my money, or I want to. No,
Okay.
okay, Rick.
I hear you, Dre. Malik, you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. I'm on the line. Keep flowing.
Okay.
Oh, no doubt. I was just saying that James is absolutely right, man. We should all, get us some type of investment that's gonna pay us, even if it ain't necessarily gotta be no investment, but something, whatever that you like, something that's gonna hold value that you could take pride in and say, well, you know what, I worked for this and I deserve this.
Right.
Straight up.
Now let me add a couple of things because we done have some comments rolling. The infamous Lisa Smith said, "Enemy of the state." This conversation makes me think of that movie. And then
Yeah.
she also said, "If you can
Which is
find."
which is one of my favorite movies. Not to cut in.
Right, right. Another a good one is Eagle Eye. That's another good movie. But then she also said,
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
if you can find pennies made before 1982, they're made from copper, which is worth something. Because if anybody knows, pennies now they're made from zinc. It ain't no copper
Zinc.
in
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yeah, they got it's this website that I go to. It's called moneymetalsexchange.com, and they give you all the spot prices, and you can order old silver dollars and silver coins. It might have like some blemishes on them. It ain't gonna be fine grade, but it'll be like a little underneath fine grade, and you can get it for half the price. Well, maybe not half the price, but like at a quarter off of whatever the spot price is. Moneymetalsexchange.com.
Okay.
And what I do is every couple of weeks, like I said, I spend $100, $200, and same thing how you was doing, Rick, and just building up my silver collection. Gold is too expensive right now, but that silver, you can get that, dirt cheap. Silver is, I believe, it's like $18.50 right now. That's the spot price. But
Right.
this is kind of stuff just like knowledgeable. This is kind of stuff because we gotta have some. Originally in them olden days, remember, what did they call gold and silver? They called that God's money or whatever, the higher deity money. This
Right.
paper currency is regulated. You know.
Right. When Nixon took us off the gold standard, it changed the whole meaning of having paper currency
Mm-hmm.
back in the 70s, early 70s. Matter of fact, Malik, what do you have to add to the conversation?
I'm kind of lost. They ain't really my lane right there. I'm trying to soak up what I can soak up.
Well, let me just say this. What have you seen that, like, far as change? Like, we were speaking about, like how a lot of people don't use money no more. They're more prompted to use debit cards or credit cards or use their phone for,
Man, I hate that shit. I mean, technology is changing, but man, I'm still old school with it, man. I like cash.
Okay.
Shit, I don't even got shit. I got a safety deposit box.
Yeah, I mean,
Big. I don't even
right.
got
No,
no motherfucking big car. When you want to buy like a car, like money is going to be so much obsolete, yo. Like, yo, you're not even going to be able to get a house, car.
Yeah, you got to have a seasoned account.
You're not going to be able to do anything, man, because all they want to do is watch your income, man, and watch what you do. Especially when y'all was talking about the Patriot Act. They did that like after like 9/11 or whatever.
Yeah, they did.
Just to watch everything. They're watching everything. And then the freaking I don't know if y'all ever heard this though, but this was like a few years ago. How the what is it, like Homeland Security actually gave public, like local police office, like doing like the states, like certain states, over $1 million worth of ammunition, man. Like, it's unbelievable. I'm like, how come they're giving all these local police officers or whatever all of these freaking bullets? Like, what the hell is going on with this shit? It's freaking crazy.
Well, think about it like this. I mean, they don't really show it too much on the media over here, but if you go to alternative sites that show things that's going on in the world, you see it's all kind of protests going on in different parts of the world.
Right.
Just think how long it may take till it comes here and hits our shores. I mean, we done had certain things, but not on a scale like, think about it like this. Over in France, they don't talk about how it's a state of emergency over there. That means they have armed military walking the streets like it's normal. But they don't talk about that. That could be here at who knows what time, depending on how certain things going. Just like how me and Jerry were talking about earlier, they have people so caught up, Trump impeachment and everything like that. I mean, it's other things going on behind the scenes that, people need to pay attention to. Just like when I was saying the Patriot Act got renewed.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking like during this impeachment act with Trump, it's like something like you said, something is going behind the scenes that's going to generate or not generate a lot of money. And I think people are investing right now into something that's about to generate some freaking income because during 2008, right, when the stock market had crashed, if you would have invested into Popeye's chicken right now, you would have made over what 10,000 they was talking about, or it was a large amount of money that you would have made if you would have invested in 2008. Because with something tragic going on, somebody behind the scenes is going to generate a lot of money.
No doubt, and that kind of goes into what you were saying about how this money goes. It's like it is a smoke screen, bro. You're right, because a lot of people, I had mentioned this earlier. A lot of people don't know that Congress, I don't care whether you call yourself a Republican or a Democrat. They about money, and the
Right.
working class is going to be the person who always going to come up with the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
So they just basically passed $1 trillion in spending, and they got their money. Because all of that money, whenever Congress pass a budget act, they make sure that they get their bread off top, right? So all of these special interest groups, and if you own a company, let's say for instance, if you're a congressman, right, and you got a company that, let's say you got a canning company, and the government give your company a contract, but since you're in public office, you can't technically own the company, but you set up like a blind trust. You set up a blind trust, and then you have somebody else manage it while you're in office. You still reaping the benefits and getting all of that money associated with that company that you then got through being an actual congressman. So
Right.
that's how that works. So the smoke screen that they'll throw out is, oh, we need to impeach Trump. But no, before he signs anything, both houses, whether it be the Republicans and the Democrats, got to sign off on it before he even get up to Trump. So it's like, man, you're right. That's really what they. Man, that's really what. And to me, this money, I think that they're gonna confiscate everybody's bank accounts. And I might sound like a, like a conspiracy theorist when I say this, but I think that if the United States was to ever default on their debt, they would confiscate everybody's bank accounts. So you gotta have some money that you can reach out and touch. I don't think that you should have everything integrated with your debit card.
Right.
But I get what you're saying though, James. Too, it's like it's kind of hard to maneuver and operate if you don't got an actual consistent bank account. Like if you try to buy a house right now and your money ain't seasoned for like the minimum 5 years, you can't buy no house. That's a fact. Ain't nobody gonna give you no loan.
Hmm.
Hey, can I chime in real quick? I thought you were talking about like you think they're gonna seize people's bank accounts. Is it true? I heard a while back that the banks is only allowed to pay you. Even, let's say if you had like $1 million in the bank, 2 million, 3 million, they only have to pay you $250,000 instead of like that. Am I right?
Yes, sir. That's called the FDIC. That's Federal Depository Insurance Contributions Act, and they only insure your accounts up to 250,000. So that's why you notice most extremely wealthy people, they'll have it's called a trust. They'll have like a irrevocable trust account set up to where their money is backed by multiple assets, such as like what they call mortgage-backed securities, or they'll have it set up to where that half of their account is held in gold, what me and Rick was just talking about. So like they'll have like they might have it at a savings institution like their account, but it's like an old school movie out of the Western where the actual bank still got a vault, and it might have $3-4 million worth of gold.
Right.
So in case if the FDIC can't insure their accounts, they covered on both ends, because now you can melt that gold down, sell it by the ounce, sell it by the gram. You know, a key of gold is like 41,000 right now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, 41,000 for a kilogram of gold. This is the type of conversations they really don't want us having. We could talk. People put that bullshit. Oh, go get you some keys on the fucked up side of the game. But if you get a key of gold, you can melt that down and continue to sell it to goldsmiths. You can sell it to jewelers. Oh man, man.
Right, and just think about it like this: why do all the pawn shops? Why do all those little different entities? Oh, we'll buy your gold. We'll buy your gold. Oh, you get this fiat currency for your gold. The gold is worth more than that fiat currency that they're giving you. But you're not.
Remember,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ricky. I was just gonna say. Remember, gold ain't taxable. They can't tax gold. See, they taxing you on that piece of paper. You get you at the pawn shop. What's the one thing that they always give you if you sell gold or silver? They give you a receipt, but on that receipt, if you look at that receipt, you will never have no sales tax, because gold ain't taxable. Because what you just said earlier, Rick Nixon took us off the gold standard, so they made it a commodity.
Right.
They took it out of making it money and they made it a commodity. But somebody else chime in. I don't want to dominate the conversation.
No, nigga, you just flowing. Keep it going.
Yeah, you be dropping signs, Dre.
Even up, baby. Like that classes of session, man.
Oh no, yeah, but this is the type of stuff though, man. We gotta really start breaking down. You figure if 4 people came together with 10 grand, they got a kilogram of gold, and then they could either hoard it, consistently hoard the gold in case of like an emergency or something like that, and say, okay, well, if the interest rates on the money Because this is what happened, right, with the Federal Reserve System. I don't know if you guys familiar with what that is. They basically got the monopoly. It's basically ain't nothing but a money laundering operation. If me and you said, okay, well, we're going to start exchanging promissory notes, and we're going to call it money, we're going to jail.
Right.
But this private bank that's technically not even a part of the United States government get to print the money, and then what they do is they sell it to all of the banks at an interest rate. So for every, I haven't checked it in a while, but I believe they get something like 5 cents for every dollar, and then I believe it's like 25 cents for every $5, and it's crazy. So it's like the interest rates alone will never pay off because every time the United States, so if they ask for $1 trillion, right, the Congress got to go to this private institution and say, well, we need $1 trillion. And they say, okay, well, we'll give you $1 trillion, but we're going to basically tax you and you got to pay us interest. And that interest is what they call the national debt. See, that debt, when they say, well, we owe the United States, the taxpayers owe $23 trillion, that's $23 trillion in interest. That ain't principal. So you would never pay it down. And see, what they don't tell people is that it's the private prisons that help fund and pay down the national debt. So they need crime. They need people to go to, as crazy as it might sound, and as fucked up as it might sound, they have to have people go to prison because prisons, when you go to prison, they put a bond on you. And that bond is being, and if you guys remember that Dick Gregory, when he was on the Breakfast Club, he talked about the birth certificate being traded on the stock exchange and shit like that. And that went over Charlemagne and Angela Yee's head, right? They didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
Right.
But what he was getting at was that your birth certificate is a security, essentially. And that security is priceless. And so that's the one contract that everybody got with the United States government. And they trade them it's international, so it's a global economy. And I mean, I don't want to get too deep with that shit, but
it's a boy by the name of Jordan Maxwell. He break that birth certificate down to a T.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Jordan Maxwell. Oh yeah, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Now hold on a second, James. Matter of fact, hang up for a second. I want to see if I can get Time Traveler to come in, and as soon as he comes in, I'll try to put you back in since I got your number directly. Just hang up on the call and see if we could get Time Traveler to come in. All right.
Yeah, but it's deep, Rick. I remember that post you had made though. That caught my eye. You know, where you talked about the gold and everything.
Right. It's just people need to look at different alternatives, and that's why I like having you on, because I mean, like I said, you got your own channel and you got your own followers that follow what you say. Hey, everybody that's on this line that's peeping out this particular live. Hold on a second.
Call from.
Time Traveler, you put in the call. What's going on with you? You might have to turn down your
I didn't want to interrupt him. I just wanted to chime in on what he was saying about the I kind of wanted to add on to what he was saying about the privacy.
Yeah.
With all these new electronics, the 5G, and I want to speak on what he was saying, elaborating some more, ask him a few questions about the currency and the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency to add on to what he was saying about the gold, because I was listening to a Freemason. It was a Freemason dude. He was telling me, he was like making a joke at like this family picnic, and he was like, yeah, that's why somebody was talking about gold. He was like, yeah, that's why when you got gold, they ask you, give me the gold, and they give your dumb ass money. And it kind of went over everybody's head. It kind of went over their head. They was like, what you talking about? Like, this dude's stupid. He was like, yeah, that's why they give your dumb ass cash, and they take the gold and the silver. And the platinum, right. They'll take that. You can have the currency. You can have the U.S. currency any day. We'll give you the U.S. We'll let you have the U.S. currency. You just trade in all that gold. And I was like, damn, that made me kind of scratch my head when he was just saying a while ago. So I was just trying to add on to what, who was that, James?
Oh, Dre Chili.
Oh, okay then.
Hey, bro, to piggyback on what you said, you familiar with that show, Pawn Stars? It's a pawn shop out of Vegas.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Look, they took this clip down, right? Check this out. They took this clip down because they killed it on the tax roll. It was this elderly guy who had an old car that Rick had wanted, but he said, the old guy said, I think he wanted like 50,000 for it. I forget what kind of car it was. And so Rick was like, meet me somewhere in the middle. He was like, I'll give you like 35 for it. So the old man like, look, you give me 35 cash, and then you're gonna give me the rest in gold. And they took this clip down, right? Because the old dude knew that the gold was taxable. So so he technically won. And Rick was looking kind of salty because he had to give up the gold. And they took that clip. I believe that they honestly took that clip down because Rick was like, we need to go in the back and do some paperwork because the IRS won't like this. And when he said that, man, I'm telling you, I cannot find that clip nowhere, no more. They took that clip down, but it was like one of them clips where it showed like one of their actual purchases. And he was like, well, we need to do some paperwork in the back because the IRS wouldn't like this. But the old guy knew. See, like that old knowledge, man, they knew what real money was. And you got to think, bro, to what you were saying. They giving us the paper, but what's the one currency? Now, yeah, it's true that our money is the world currency that's the less reserved and that you can find in every country. But what's the one metal that you can go literally anywhere in the world and it's recognizable? That's gold and silver. Really, two of them, gold and silver.
Right.
Gold and silver, yeah.
Now, what did you want to ask him about the cryptocurrency?
Oh, I just wanted to ask him, is that relatable? Not relatable. I know it's relatable. But can I say, like, what I was really trying to ask is really a difficult question. Like, do you think that they're trying to throw everybody off with the cryptocurrency because they don't want y'all to know? Like, they don't want us to talk about what we're talking about right now. We like kind of going away from the grain of what they want. They want to blow the wind and make us blow one way. But
it's really
like what he's saying.
It's really kind of. I agree with James. I really think that it's a way in which they want everybody underneath one world currency, which can be electronically controlled. Because I don't care what nobody say. I think that they talk about, it was a computer scientist. I forget the Japanese guy name. They made up some name talking about that he created cryptocurrency and he started the whole blockchain technology. I honestly believe that it was a test. It's like what Rick was saying. Sometimes they'll put testers out there to see how the people will react to it. Because remember, 2 years ago, when cryptocurrency had this big old wave and this big old boom and people start selling their blockchains, some people did become millionaires. Some people was, got, hundreds of $1,000s. Yeah, it was true with some people out there that got paid, right? But they had already had it. I'm talking about from like 04 or 05. So they sat on it for almost 10 plus years. I honestly think that the government created it, though. I don't care what nobody say. I believe our government created it, and they put it out as a test run to see and hopefully think that everybody will make the jump. But, we've been dealing with, especially us melanated people, we've been so used to dealing with cash for so long that if you tell somebody, like, put all your money on in cryptocurrency, we'll look at you like you crazy. Like, hell no. Yeah, I ain't doing that.
Hell no. We just don't want to. We just can't afford to put all our eggs in the government run off and do that. So that's why I agree with that. You right. Most dudes will be like, hell no, I ain't putting all my money. Now, I had a homeboy who would do like what most of us would do. He said, man, I put like 200 or 300 towards that shit. But that's it. He said, I put like 200 or 300 in for Bitcoin. Like he said, like in 2017. He said, but he didn't. He said, he was basically saying he came when it was already, like you said, dude was already became millionaire. And to me, it's almost like, I want to speak to Rick about like how, like to me, it's almost seemed like when too many people, it's like you say, the melanated group find out, now that same loophole that used to work 2 years ago, they shut that down.
Right.
Or they made it harder. And like me and my homeboy was talking about that, because like I send your post, Rick, to my homeboy, because I be telling them this, and they think I'm crazy. And I used to be like, nah, bro, a lot of this shit be rigged. Like, it's making us think we crazy. But we was right at the beginning. It was like this at the beginning, but somebody then went back and said, you know what, these dudes are winning off of this. We got to make this shit harder. Same with cracking cards, same with check scams, all that shit. Anytime you catch on, I promise you, bro, they find a way. They'll go back and redo it and re-rig the game, so that way the shit you was getting away with maybe a year or two ago, once so many people didn't did it and they caught on to how they was doing it, they closed it up every time.
Right.
That's what I was calling to ask y'all. Do y'all think that's what they doing with the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency? Because too many people know about it at this point. So it'd be dangerous to just let everybody that invests get rich off this one thing. Like that'd be the easy way out, wouldn't?
Mm-hmm. And they damn sure don't want no melanated people to get the easy way out.
Right.
Piggyback real quick. And to piggyback real quick on what you were saying with the whole credit cards, I don't know, even if you can, I know for a fact, at least in Arizona, you can't get a debit card, even if it's like a cash loaded card, you can't get it without it having a chip, the prepaid. You cannot get no card no more without it having the actual magnet chip in there. And that magnet chip is like a fraud reader, because when guys was writing the codes on gift cards, and they call it scamming. Really, I believe that unfortunately my city was like one of the first to kind of like come up with the whole concept of writing the codes to like, stealing like gift cards and shit like that. And they changed all of that around, man. Anybody that caught themselves going in there into a bank and using, a preloaded card and getting cash out of the bank, they ain't going for it now. Same thing with the IDs. Like, if you get a line at AT&T, right, they take a picture of the ID, store the ID, and then they put the ID underneath, like it's either a blue or red light, depending on which store you go to. And when you swipe your card to pay for, your phone or pay your bill or something like that, the receipt is sent to the actual card holder address, and Chase get a copy of it too. A lot of people don't, or Chase or Wells Fargo, man, it's all computerized now, man. So that whole day is over with, man.
And they did that on purpose, like you say.
You.
And I want to add on to you. This is what I want to add on what you were saying about the privacy TV. It messed me up, and you were saying how people just go on and ignore it. Well, I want to speak to y'all about this. You know how many people ignore when they be like, check if you a robot? Now, you know that I told my homeboy that, he was like, bro, that kind of bothered me. I was like, bro, it said check if you a robot. Please let me know, how can you prove that you're not a robot? Click these boxes to let me know you're not a robot. That don't bother y'all, that thing ass y'all that?
Yep.
Check and see if you're not a robot. And like, a lot of people just click and be like, I'm not no robot. I can go on. Like, but no, like, think about it. Check if you're not a robot. Like, what are they really trying to say? Like, it's like machines out here that's like programmed to like hack into like websites or something. Like,
right. That's letting you know that algorithms, artificial intelligence is real.
Yeah. They call it, or the capture picture. Yeah, but you're absolutely right, bro. It is say, check to see if you're a robot, and check if you're a robot, bro.
They want to know if you're a human. Please prove that you're a human or a robot. Like, hey, that don't bother y'all? Like, say, hey, man, that kind of bothered me one day. I kept seeing that. Like, I kept seeing it for years, but I just never thought about it. It just never crossed my mind that that's just not what they're trying to say here. Like, what are they really trying to say?
Now, peep this. I'm going to add on to the smart TV thing. I think we're all old enough to know this. When video games, home consoles came out, you could use to just get the game and put it in there and play it. Now, think about the game systems that they have now. You can't even play any of them games without having a Wi-Fi connection. It won't work at all.
Nope. You gotta play online. You're forced to play online now. So naturally, it got your IP address, and then they got the actual console address. Because a lot of people don't know, when you got a video game, that video game has an actual, it's like similar to an IP address too.
Right.
And they know where that game is at and who in possession of that game. It's like, man, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, they got too much stuff now, man. Like. And that's what the Eric Snowden do. In case y'all don't get unfamiliar with him, Eric Snowden, that's why he left the country, because he's basically talking about what we're talking about now. And even the government was kind of like, hey, say, bro, you're going to have to, hey, man, you can't be, because basically you telling people, hey, that stuff they're giving you, right? I mean, they watching you. And then it was funny, my buddy was making a joke the other day. He was like, bro, you can try to hold out all you want with your little old smartphone. They're going to make everybody get that 5G. He was like, they're going to make it. I'm like, bro, hell no. I'll just go get me a flip phone from 2003. Of course, he like, no. He like, they're going to make it to where he said they're gonna make it when they build enough towers and they get enough towers built. Then he sent me this one video also about like this dude was using the phone next to a tower, and he said like it was showing how it like messed people's body up, like the frequency too high.
Right.
His head started hurting and shit. He's like, I got to get away from this. He didn't know. And the one dude was like working at the school. And he said for some reason like everybody inside the school, because it was a tower like right outside their school. And he said when you go behind the building, he had like a frequency reading meter. It would like go down. He said when he would come from behind the building and go back close to it, he could see like the frequency just go like way low. He was like, man, this shit. He was like, this shit can't be healthy for us, man. Like we need to vote. Like we need to like sign petitions saying, this 5G shit. Like we not ready for this. Like it's gonna fuck people up. Like it's gonna fry from the inside out.
Right.
And they call that shit the 5G bandwidth network and all of that. And when I was in AT&T the other day, I was like, it wasn't even an option because I was previously on the 4G network. And he was like, oh, no, he told me, this was his exact words. He said, you on an automatic upgrade. And so I was like, well, what do you mean an automatic upgrade? He like, your service, it has to be 5G now. Like, you cannot talk on the 4G cell tower no more. So I was like, well, where the hell is the 5G tower at? Because I remember that people were saying that, like, out here in particular, we hadn't even had a 5G tower yet. And they were selling people, basically frauding people, were saying, well, you on a 5G bandwidth. And then they would look at their phone, and that shit would still say 4G. And so I was like, well, where's the tower at? He was like, oh, it's not a tower, it's a satellite. So I was like, so this is what you're saying is like absolutely true, because it was like, oh no, it's automatic. You don't like. He was basically saying, in other words, you don't got no choice. If you want to keep your phone in your service, you have to be talking on 5G now.
You have to. They're gonna force you to join. And I was reading like, just like you were saying with how they make you spend money. I think they're gonna make the phone, everybody with a phone going 5G, or they're gonna, because I think the new 5G is like the ultimate new way to see everybody, hear everybody, keep track of everybody. So I think the old 3 and 4G, there's too many loopholes and too many ways to get around it.
Right.
I think you cut your phone on airplane mode. They can't take your phone. They're gonna make it now where you can't, even if you cut your phone off all the way completely off, you can try to take the battery out. It don't even matter. They're gonna have that chip, that special chip, that it don't even matter. The same with I know y'all probably familiar with the conspiracy 2012 to now, where they were saying like in the next coming years we're gonna have this chip to where you're gonna have to go in the store, and then like y'all to add on to what y'all was saying earlier, to piggyback off what y'all was saying about cash being obsolete. Like you need to scan your wrist so we can see your name. We need to know how old you are. This is how we're gonna be able to check. It ain't gonna be no more fake IDs getting in the club, fake IDs buying beer, fake IDs buying tobacco. No, we're gonna scan your wrist and we're gonna know it's you. We're gonna know it. You don't have to carry no paper ID. It's not gonna be no more paper ID. I need that chip gonna be in your wrist or wherever they say they allow.
Home Depot,
leg, something like that.
Home Depot said by the end of this year that's coming up, 2020, all of their stores is gonna have. They call it like integrated shopping, to where like you could you come in with a car or your cell phone, and you just basically walk in the joint, pick out whatever you picking out, and then the fact that your card is already prepaid and preloaded, you just walk in, take whatever you want, and then walk out. All of these stores, they saying all of these stores will have that type of technology by the end of this year coming up, man.
Man, you know what that's gonna do? Do you know what that's gonna do? That's gonna eliminate like at least over 100,000 to 200,000 jobs.
Right.
In every other city. Like we say, I guess I know you guys already know because y'all old enough to know. When you see the self-checkout line in Walmart, that killed those cashiers. That killed them.
Right. But a lot of people forget where that came from. And think about it, a lot of these places ain't even around no more. The first place they had that technology was Kmart. I remember Kmart was the first one to have that. And you see Kmart really ain't around no more.
Right. Wow. Like you just said, man, what does that do to like the jobs and shit like that? Because you gotta think.
It eliminate them. I mean, those cashiers, basically a cashier is obsolete. If you can get a self-checkout cashier like every gas station and every, like, it'll basically be like, it'll be obsolete. Like, it wouldn't be no point. They'll just, of course, they'll still have a security camera, so if you try something, they'll just come hunt you down. But far as like the guy standing there on his foot for 8 to 12 hours, no, he's not gonna have to. I mean, basically, he'll be wasting his time standing there. Your feet gonna be hurting for nothing.
But
Dude could just stand his own items and walk off.
now, peep this. Let me add this real quick. Now, I was just watching this old movie. I know y'all probably don't watch it at some point. Low Down Dirty Shame with Jada Pinkett and I want to say with the Wayans brothers.
Yes, sir.
Well, at the beginning, I guess her and her homegirl was talking on the phone, talking about some soap opera, and then basically Jada Pinkett was like, "Girl, you know you're on welfare. You need to stop whatever she was doing." And you can hear the homegirl on the phone say, "I ain't on welfare. I'm on FEMA." I'm like, wait a minute. Did she just say FEMA? Nobody was talking about that back in '97 when this movie came out. So what are you saying?
Damn, you did say that. And they cut it real fast. They
Yeah.
on that topic too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just think, remember the city of Houston when they had that flood, what was that, a couple years back? They were saying
that what was that, Hurricane Irma or some shit?
Oh, yeah,
Hurricane something.
And not
Hurricane Harvey. I might be wrong. It might have been Harvey.
And not the people, and it's good that the people of Houston came together and really helped each other out. They was wanting to declare that city underneath emergency, and that's when all of the FEMA camps, they really wanted to start setting up FEMA camps and stuff like that. I remember that at that time, that was a talk. It's like, and they like, the people stepped up and said, hell no, we don't want that shit, because we look at what happened to the people in New Orleans.
Yeah. I was trying to add on to you with the Houston incident, because I'm from Dallas.
Okay.
I know. I was listening to Trader Truth interview. Y'all know the rapper Trader Truth.
Yeah.
From Houston. Yeah. I was listening to Trader Truth interview, and he was speaking to the news in Houston, and he was telling them, and they was kind of like, they trying to like really stop talking to him because he was exposing the Houston police. The HPD, ambulance, the fire truck, they all went like on strike. Like, we're not helping the people. Like Trader Truth said, he had to link with the first aid people and literally like go get boats and go get those people out of the city of Houston. He said the government in the state of Texas, they was just like, shit, put them in camp. We ain't finna help them, let them drown. I said, yeah, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Dallas, so they kind of hit home. Cause I got family down there. So yeah, it hit home to me. I'm like, what? They said, yeah, the people, all of the people that's supposed to come to the rescue, like the FEMA workers and the National Guard and all of that's supposed to come. Every time it's a national disaster, they supposed to come out and make sure the people don't die at a high rate. They said they was just sitting back. Like Trader Truth said, he had to gather up people from his hood and his cousins and stuff and to help these people with these boats to get supplies and keep people from drowning and give people life jackets, bro. Like they had to do it. The people in the city had to merge together. The government in the state was like, shit. The state was like, fuck these people. Let them drown. I said, what? And that should have been, that was a red flag to me. That won't be up then. That won't be up when Trader Truth said that. That won't be up.
I was wondering, because that was looking at all of the storm, when I was looking at all of the people on the news back then, I was like, damn, how come ain't no, like, it was a good sign to see that people was helping each other out. But I was wondering, and like, where was the government at? Like,
right.
Because you mostly seen just fellow citizens with their boats and stuff, helping each other out. Okay, so it makes sense to what you like totally saying now. So that's what happened basically as to why.
They basically was just like Rick was just saying. They basically like, shit, fuck it. We set up FEMA account. We ain't trying to help it. We want this FEMA to set up. We kind of want FEMA to come on through. We kind of want this camp to have a reason to exist. Because you think about it, if we fix everything, it just go back to their normal life. But see, if we leave it like this, you kind of gotta come to us. You kind of gotta beg us. And that's what I think they kind of wanted. I think they expect us to be worse, to be honest, because they kind of just left the people to, like, fend for yourself too bad. It's not New Orleans. We're not trying to help. And I was like, damn, like, that's kind of ruthless. And you would think, most people in these states and cities and stuff, you think your local and your state behind people, man. The whole time, they got sent us the motive too. Like, I never put, and you can go even further, and then when you look at the judge with this shooting in Dallas, like, I just always looked at it like, man, these judges, man, these people not, the people out there who think they got your best interest in heart, you a fool.
Right.
You a fool. And the fool, that's just a nice word to call you, but, yeah, you a fool. You a blind fool if you think that the judges, the mayor, the people, like the people who's supposed to call call the people to help, with natural disasters and National Guard. These people supposed to step in and make sure those people don't drown, and make sure these people, not, babies ain't drowned and flooding in the city, stuff just flooding everywhere. They supposed to clean that up. The people themselves have to fend for themselves. So that should have let people know right then. That should have let the whole United States know that you can't put you'll be a fool to put your heart and think the government gonna save you. End up dying waiting on them to save you.
Real talk. Look how many people that was from New Orleans.
Tornado, earthquake, any of that.
Look how many people were from New Orleans and never got the opportunity to go back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like,
never got a chance to go back.
I knew people that had relocated up in my city, up in Detroit, and they still there. I was like, damn, I would figure you guys that would have went back. And they was like, Dre, what is it to go back to? They was like, it ain't our house was like literally gone.
Right.
And even some of the people that had insurance, they was like, it was considered a natural disaster, so the homeowner's insurance, wasn't going to cover it because it was, epic proportions, as they called it. A disaster of epic proportions. Wow. And it's like, dude.
So ain't flood insurance a natural disaster? Flood insurance, if it's just like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But exactly. So what the hell am I putting flood insurance? I guess that's for whenever, you got a toilet flood or, a basement flood.
Right.
Like, damn.
Yeah, like you said, it's not, you can go back, but if you do go back, we're not helping you build that shit up. You're going to build it yourself, or go ahead. But, yeah, basically.
I used to be a big fan. I'm still a big fan of New Orleans. The essence, they took the whole essence away from that when they did that bullshit. It don't even, when you check out New Orleans, it ain't even the same New Orleans when you just look at New Orleans.
Yeah, I don't even see how people still, because you still hear people say they go down there for Mardi Gras and stuff, but I used to always wonder about that. But I'm glad you brought that up. I used to always wonder about that. When people say they go now, is it the same? Did they ever fix the cities?
No, that's it. It's mostly gentrified now. I went back down in 2007, and that was a couple years afterwards, and the city was still like pretty torn up. So I don't think that I will give like a good explanation now. But for the people that have went, they said it's all like it's kind of like been commercialized now. Like the culture and essence of it is gone.
Right.
It ain't the same.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right.
Like it's all commercialized now. Like.
Because it's more of a sale now. Like we're trying to sell a business now. Like we're trying to make what I'm trying to say. Like it's kind of like a football team or basketball team. You want to make yourself marketable to, so LeBron will want to join you. You want to make your team look. It's kind of like that. I see what you're saying. Like New Orleans, they're just trying to make it marketable to sell. People will still come from Mardi Gras, so people will still want to come. Listen to jazz music or whatever, but. Like you say, for the most part, they just hide behind the fact that the city tore up and they'll never be the same again.
Mm-hmm. And then a lot of people got displaced. I mean, I know at least 50 people that was from down there, man, and it's like, they literally just got relocated in the blink of a week, man. And it was like, damn.
They did. They did, because I used to wonder.
Right, man.
A lot of them came to Dallas and Houston, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had some come up all the way up to Minnesota, too. So they was going to all different parts of, I'll say it like this, like Dick Gregory said, different dots, different cities throughout the country, Remember when they first said, the refugees, and like, how are they refugees in any of this country? What the hell?
Yeah. You see how they do us, though? Hurricane Katrina refugees, but they citizens of the damn country, and you gonna call them refugees.
Right.
They was also saying that they better off how they is now than what they was before, some crazy shit. Y'all remember that?
Because that whole third war, that's what I mean when I say it got gentrified. Like, they put a lot of, like, I know that they got, like, a little Hyatt over there in there. It's all commercialized now, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, they don't start building it. They're going to be a loss. They're going to be a loss where the project used to be. Yeah, that's how you gentrify. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they say they're doing Brooklyn like that. They say they're doing Brooklyn like that now. Right now.
Bro, listen, fellas. I'm in Philly, so I'm about an hour and a half away from New York. So if you live in Brooklyn, right? If you live in New York right now, you might as well just pack your bags and leave. The Jews got that on smack. We're moving everybody out. Rent sky high. There's so many people from New York that's coming over to Philly right now. I don't make no sense.
Or have went down south to like the Carolinas. You know, my dad lived in Bronzeville, and that section in the 90s, you know, because you know, you in Philly, that section of Brooklyn in the 90s was like, that's where Mike Tyson from. It was, I'm talking about like one of the worst sections in New York you could live in. Man, they got $1 million lofts and $2 million brownstones now. And like people that come back that might have left 20 years ago, they like, what the hell did happen? I'm talking about a Starbucks on the corner. You got women walking their baby and jogging at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning now and shit. I mean, so the gentrification of that city is like, yeah, that city got ripped apart.
It's crazy. You probably just leave. Yeah. But I was talking to one of my homegirls from New York. She up in the Bronx right now. She up in Hybrid. She said, and she lives in Brooklyn, Queens. She was like, people in New York don't want to let it go. New York residents, you gotta let it go. Like, it's over for y'all. It's over. Then they lock you up for anything over there.
I mean, you know, in Brownsville, you can't get a place for $3,200 a month. To find a room, you might be able to get a bedroom in somebody's joint for like $1,800, a little under $2,000. But on top, if you got a house, man, your mortgage is gonna be about $3,500, man. Seriously, in the city.
For like $1,900 in Philly, you could damn near live where Eddie Murphy did Trading Places at downtown. Yeah.
What's going on in Philly though, man? How's the brothers in Philly doing up? Philly is an interesting Philly, Jersey, and all that.
I mean, well, Philly cool. They still it's getting gentrified. It's still not too high though. You can come here and you can get some money. You know what I'm saying? Just don't fuck with the knuckleheads. But it's still somewhat of a good city. Yeah, it's still somewhat of a good city. It's kind of like it's still kind of like untapped a little bit. People always say like Chicago, LA, New York, and stuff like that. Philly is like a city that's kind of really like untapped. You can come here, you can get low. Nobody even got to know you here.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Because it's not, because I mean, at the end of the day, outside of the, like, you know, the artists that's like the rappers like Meek Mills or Lil Uzi or something, you don't really, if they don't say nothing about it, you know, most people for the most part kind of like, they don't really mention Philly much, even though, you know, Philly, everybody knows about them. They know about them though, just like Baltimore. People don't mention them much, but you still know. Saying kind of like, I mean, Detroit get more love than, you know, Baltimore. Detroit, I see what you're saying. Like Detroit, Chicago, they get more love than Baltimore. Philly.
Right.
And Philly. Yeah.
I get the gist of what you're saying though, because he's right. Because when somebody mentioned Philly, I instantly think Meek. But I did hear him say that Philly got
the Eagles or the 76ers.
Oh yeah, I do hear a lot of people say that Philly is like an untapped jewel as it relates to like investments and stuff. Like here, you can get like a lot.
You know, that's like the home. That's like the home of the Constitution and all like that. They got a Constitution here. It's a lot of history in this motherfucker. You can, man. Look, niggas about 10, 15 years ago, man, we could have locked this shit down. It's sweet.
Here's my knock on like it's not even Philly. It's just the state of Pennsylvania. The state of Pennsylvania kind of remind me of like the state of Texas. They lock you up for anything and forever too. They love the prison system. Like they don't give a shit about prison reform. Like they love it.
Every one brother out of every 28 is on some type of like restriction or probation or something like that.
I was just watching a documentary about that, bro. They say every 1 out of 4 brothers, bro, either on some supervision or they already in it, or they all the way fully in it, or he had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, basically.
Right.
You know what I noticed though? What I've been noticing, a lot of like we populate all the jails, but we the least people that know. We the least people that know about the law.
Well, we getting hip now. I will say that a lot of people get hip. Like I was actually listening to some brothers talk, and they was associated with it's this dude who all he does is he drive around in various places around the country. His name Charlie Bow. And he got a YouTube channel, and he interviewed a lot of like the little gangs and stuff. And he was out there in California, and them brothers, they was like, oh, hell no, don't come around here. They was like, we ain't talking about none of that gang stuff. Ain't nobody got on no gang colors. This ain't no gang affiliation. And he was like, why y'all so, sensitive? And, California is like the gang capital. And they like, yeah, that's just it, what you just said. Because we will verse now. They was like, we got a law here. They was like, we don't know where you from, but we got laws here, and it's called gang enhancement and gang injunction laws. And they was like, nah, we ain't really with all of that. You ain't about to have us all on camera. So it is some brothers that's getting hit, and I love seeing that.
I heard they was trying to start like a street harassment law. Like if you even speak to a white woman, she can get you locked up type shit. They trying to push over there.
Oh yeah, it was called. It was a specific name for it. It was a specific name what they was calling that shit. But I know exactly what you were talking about. They didn't pass it. Thankfully.
Yeah. Cause that's almost like bringing stop and frisk back, but on some other shit though. You know what I'm saying? Like on some gender, like on some racism type shit. Like,
of course. All a white woman got to do is say, he harassed me, he street harassed me, and he spoke to me, and that's probable cause to. Well, we're gonna run your name and see. We're gonna check you for warrants.
Right.
We got probably, check the car and all that shit.
Yeah, what was the thing they was filming men catcalling women and stuff like that? They was trying to make that something like, oh, you can't say nothing to, get a woman's attention, and back in days of old of saying certain things. But let one of these people that's a part of the alphabet letters say something to somebody and you ain't supposed to say nothing. I mean, come on, man.
Right. Straight up. You ain't supposed to say nothing. You supposed to just hope she float to you.
Yeah, they secretly, that's why they keep us distracted. They secretly trying to, behind closed doors, trying to come up with these laws. That's why I'm trying to get in tune with these town meetings and stuff and start attending these meetings. But they had them so much under the radar, you don't even know that they're happening.
Right.
Yeah, like you talking about like the minute meetings, like for the cities. Yeah, like
for the cities, low level stuff. They pass the law around our nose.
But see, they had them laws. You know, tell y'all the truth, we can say it's under our nose, and it is, but it ain't. Let me tell you why it ain't. Because it's on the damn C-SPAN channel. And who the fuck wanna watch that channel? Who wanna watch the C-SPAN channel? But they say that channel, that's the channel that make everything we see go down. And
it's like the old saying, bro.
God damn.
You put it in the book.
That C-SPAN channel, that's a bad damn channel, bro. But it's just so far removed. Like people
can't. Oh yeah, C-SPAN is a bad channel. Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Now go ahead, Dre.
I was just gonna say you're right. Well, it's like the old saying, or they put it in the book, or they'll put it somewhere hidden on the internet.
Put it in the book, yeah, exactly. Put it in the book, or put it on the C-SPAN channel, and you will never.
Hey, y'all know what else? And I'm pretty sure y'all brothers familiar with this. That Democracy Now, that's a mean channel.
Oh yeah, Democracy Now. They got a YouTube channel. Them and Truth Dig as well. That's another one. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but it's called Truth Dig, D-I-G. I never heard of that. Check them out. They talk about a lot of stuff that's going on in the inner cities, and they give real interviews. It ain't like where they trying to exploit somebody. They'll go pick somebody from like a community that know what's actually going on, and they'll edit it in a way in which, because you know how, especially with us, they'll get somebody who might not be necessarily as articulate or might not have it all together, and that'll be the reflection to paint Newark, New Jersey, or Detroit, or everybody. You see what I'm saying?
When they do that, when they do that. He can't speak for me. I can speak way better than him. But let me myself.
Right.
I don't like that. I hate that.
But you know what they said was doing that? They said Gangland with the History Channel was doing that. I thought Gangland was raw. They said no, Gangland was editing shit and putting other shit, not saying her Gangland was on some bull crap.
Oh yeah, them and Vice. Vice is notorious for that. That's why I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like Vice. I don't like him either.
I got a homeboy. He got a dad watching them. I told him, say, man, why you keep sending me these Vice clips? I told him, bro, Vice with them too, bro. They not gonna get. I think, but I'm gonna be real with y'all though. In like 2007, when YouTube was like 2-3 years old, Vice used to be raw. And I don't think if Vice wasn't commercial back then, Vice was underground. that was the last of them, I think. That was like 12 years ago though. That was so long ago. They not the same, but yeah, that's why I agree with y'all. What y'all saying about them? No, they not the same.
Right, just like when YouTube was brand new, it was raw. I mean, you could get damn near everything uncut, but once they got bought out by Google, that's when shit changed.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Oh wow, that's wow.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a lot of respect right there.
Cause yeah, I remember YouTube used to be somewhat wide open. You're right, Reed. And the minute Google bought them, it commercialized everything.
Mm-hmm.
And cause remember, the original owners of YouTube, the reason why they was basically damn near forced to sell. Because remember when we used to, and I'm guilty of it, we used to rip music from like YouTube and stuff like that. Remember, it was all them labels that was gonna sue the original YouTube developers. And so they was basically forced to sell. It was like y'all either got to take down all of this music that people that uploaded on your website, or y'all got to sell it. And they end up selling it to Google. What did Google do? They turn around and they cut deals with all of the music companies or record companies, and then they start allowing them to stream it for nickels on the dollar, or pennies on the dollars rather. Yep. And then all of a sudden, fast forward 3-4 years. You ain't got Napster no more. You got YouTube Music. You got Spotify. You got Google Play.
Right.
You got,
Didn't the nigga MC Hammer have something to do with YouTube early on?
I'm gonna take y'all back to like 03, 2003. I remember back then, this one little Flip and Slim Thug, when you could download Bearshaw and LimeWire. Them boys was getting money. Mike Jones, Paul Wall, them boys was getting money on them albums in the street. That's when, and this when rappers was complaining. I remember Ludacris went to Oprah, and he was telling her about like what you was just saying. That's why I'm bringing this up, because he was saying like this streaming is killing. Like I can't. Like Ludacris used to be one of the biggest selling rappers. Like used to go platinum every time. Now he can barely go. Like so he was like basically telling Oprah like we sick of this streaming. Like somebody gotta stop this. Like you said, what did they do? Wow. They turned around and see what they was complaining about Bearshaw and all that stuff back then, because you have to still have to go secretly download it, and they would say, oh, well, piracy would be illegal. Piracy is illegal if you get caught. The FBI come, the FBI. They said the FBI came and took some people's music.
Yeah, remember they said they was at the dude DJ Drama House. Some stuff like that.
DJ Drama he caught a case behind that. He got arrested. He had to do like 2 years. Yeah. I mean, love him or hate him, his music, but y'all, I mean, you gotta give him his props.
They was getting money out, but they was getting more money though back then, because it wasn't, everybody didn't know how to download. I remember, I know you guys remember the days, and they used to say, hey man, can you burn me this CD?
Oh yeah, that was an art. You're right.
Nobody don't do that no more, man. Burn me that CD, like you can't. It ain't no point. You'll never hear nobody ask you to burn them a CD now. Like somebody ask you that.
I ain't gonna lie. It seemed like them Houston boys. They caked off. They got in and got out.
They did, but what's the one artist?
That's what I'm saying. The streaming didn't kill them, because it was more like, hey man, I'm gonna pull up to your crib. I'm gonna play this while I'm with you at your barbecue. We gonna sip some drink. We gonna smoke a little tree. And we just gonna chill. And that's how they would make the people bought in, so you couldn't trick them. Like you couldn't trick the fans, because the fans knew, no, this guy Paul Wall was really, Mike Jones was really there. We seen these dudes.
Yeah, listen, that nigga Slim Thug, he came out with a CD. When you said he came out with a CD, his CD was called Already Platinum, and I was like, why the hell he named this shit Already Platinum?
Oh yeah,
because he was saying he already was getting money from doing. I was like, wow.
Yeah, because this was before download. Streaming and YouTube. See, everybody couldn't just get on the internet and just.
Okay.
You couldn't. No, you had to know somebody, or you could go.
It was an art.
You could get in touch with the dude at the Screw House. It's the Screw Tape House in Houston, in South Houston. Like, it's like around the corner from where he's from. And how do I know? Because I got family there. But so. You can actually reach the Screw Tape. You can get all of the old Fat Pat. You can get all of the old, whatever artist you like that was in the Screwed Up Click. That you can get all of the industry. You can get all that music still to this day. They kept it in the city, so like still to this day you can get their music. Like they don't, but most of it can't be streamed because they wanted money hand in hand. I'm giving you the tape, give me my $10. Here go another CD, give me $13. I'm giving you 25 tracks. I'm giving you 13 on one disc, giving you 12 on another disc. These artists don't even give you that much music anymore.
And remember, it's all about views now. It's all about views now. But that's what I was telling Reek. I was like, if the views really don't really mean that much because of the commercials, everybody ain't getting commercials on their videos. So even if you got a video that might do 5 million, but even if you got a video that got 5 million and commercials on it, you might not get nothing but like $800-900 a month. You know, I mean, that's a good residual for like, you know, one video. So, but you got to think, you probably got to have 25, almost 30 videos. That's why the content, the minute it drops, it becomes old after a week. So like most artists, if you think about it now, ain't really even no point in putting together no music videos, because the music video, you got overhead. You're going to have to pay the production. You're going to have to pay the set. Then you the cinematographer.
Music videos ain't that expensive. Like, it ain't no Hype Williams and them niggas ain't around no more.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's a music video.
That's why they killed them.
But what I was saying,
I can pay one of y'all to do my video now.
I was saying in regards to the streaming, though, like the streaming. That's what I see. What you're saying. Yeah, people ain't that whole day where Hype Williams was getting $1 million for a video. Oh, that shit been dead. That's over with. That's been over with. But you know, can y'all remember who was the first person to like make $1 million, whether you like this music or not, off of the internet and off of streaming? I don't know if y'all remember, but the year was 2000. Soulja Boy, 2007.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. He kind of pioneered it.
Yeah, so I'm the same age as Soulja Boy. I remember back then this dude used to post 50 Cent this on Berkshire and LimeWire.
Yeah, he broke that down. I heard that how he did it.
He would just sit there and just keep typing like Lil Wayne did. Just push up.
He was finessing you.
Yeah, and people would download it. Like people were like, "Oh yeah, I gotta hear this." Like people like it, and that's that trick still works today. Like that's crazy. Yeah, you can still.
But let's go into this aspect. I mean, if y'all caught that interview I did with a Big Prodigy from South Central Cartel, we kind of talked about how, Prince, when he was alive, he didn't have any music on YouTube. But as soon as he died, it was all up on there. Right.
He was against it. Man, he wanted to deal with Jay-Z. Oh, yeah, he had a deal with Jay-Z that he was going to do. And that's why Jay-Z had kind of got upset and was like, Prince would have never wanted this. He was going to strike a deal with Tidal, because remember, Tidal was paying the artists more royalties. It wasn't going off of points. It was, I think Jay-Z had a formula to where it was like views versus like, period of content. Whereas like YouTube is views and it's advertisement dollars.
Plus, it's no real true auditing of what you're actually getting. It's no real count of that. So that's why he never put it up there. Like, I don't know if I'm really truly getting my rightful due. Just because you say, I need to see an auditing of this shit.
That's right. And they didn't like that because Prince was smart with his. And, I know you being up in the Minnesota area, that whole BS, Prince didn't have a wheel. They said that man rode his bike every day, was in shape. And you mean to tell me, they said Prince got enough material. I believe Morris Day has said that Prince got well over 500 songs that still haven't been released yet. Like, he got that type of a catalog. Wow. And he never wanted his music. Yeah, but he never wanted. If Rick is right, he never wanted his music on YouTube. Period.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't want them spinning his music. Yeah. He didn't want nobody trying to play it. He didn't want you using it for commercial ads. Like he was like, yeah. Like,
what's crazy? You can't really find Jay-Z music on YouTube.
He does, and what he does sometimes, and it's actually pretty smart. He'll release like all of the old stuff on YouTube, and then you can't get the full album. You got to purchase Tidal. So he'll use YouTube as kind of like a free marketing, and then if you want the actual album, you got to go get it from Tidal. But that's kind of like smart marketing. So you use them for free, and then you release like singles off of certain albums. And then if somebody really want to listen to the album, they say, yeah, well, I'll spend the $10 a month to go get Tidal, But you're right, because Prince, Prince was with ASCAP, I believe, and he was adamant about that. I want all of my music audited. Because remember, it was a lady who had a YouTube video where I believe her daughter was singing one of Prince's songs, and Prince was like, take it down.
Right.
And they had to take it down. He was like, I don't give a shit. People can get mad all they want. Take my music down. He was real particular about where he wanted his music played.
Right. And I'll say this. I had a clip. This was when Prince was still alive, and they said Prince would search YouTube to see if he would see his music on. I had a clip from Under the Cherry Moon posted on my channel. And it wasn't even like no music that, you know, was used in the movie. It was just like a score sound. YouTube sent me a thing essentially that came from Prince. Like, if I don't take this down, they're gonna knock my whole channel down. So I immediately pulled that shit down. I'm like, gosh damn it, he ain't playing for real.
Mm.
He got like
He got adamant. But you gotta think, I don't know if you know this, Rick, but remember Prince at 17 owned his masters. And these was the days when brothers was, you know, they give a brother a Cadillac and he own the whole catalog. So he might have 5 or 10 albums that went platinum, double platinum, and you know, they gave him a Cadillac, mom might get a house. And his only money he get to keep, and I'm talking about like guys like the Temptations, all of them cats kind of got jerked out of their royalties. So here you got a 17-year-old kid. This is how I know. I don't care what nobody say. Prince was killed by the industry.
Hell yeah.
Industry in particular. You got a 17-year-old kid who had his masters. Come on, man. That was unheard of.
Remember when Nas was on the Drink Champs and he asked him who he ever wanted to do a song with, and he said Prince. And then he was like, Prince called him and said, do you own your masters? And he said no or something like that. And Prince hung up and was like, call me when you own your masters.
Yep.
This is recent.
He was trying to school him to the game. I seen that on Drink Champs, when Nas was on there.
Yeah.
And he talked, because Prince was very sophisticated as it relates to his music and the business, you know.
But to me, that makes me think, who was really in his ear telling him about this stuff about business? That's what I like to know. Who was in his ear? Was it the same people that was in Michael Jackson's ear? That's what makes me think about it. Because think about who doles out the money. These law firms dole out the money to their family. Not they don't. The family don't got total control over it. It's like they get an allowance from these law firms. So who were the people in Prince and Michael Jackson's ear? Because figure, Michael Jackson owned 51% of Sony. Remember, they kept, Michael Jackson's broken, all this kind of shit. Bullshit.
Yeah, big bullshit.
I mean, to be honest with you, Prince is like a mystery. Who was he being around?
No, but check this out. The estate lawyer, now I was just talking about how Prince always, and we all know that Prince never wanted his music on YouTube. The estate lawyer put all of his music on YouTube. Now you can stream Prince's music on YouTube. Now keep this in mind, right? The estate, she said that the estate got bills, this, that, and that. How the fuck do a dead man still got all of these bills? You never know. He might have had some expenses and stuff like that. So she tried to justify paying the creditors to his estate by putting his music on a streaming service that he did not want to do business with. And meanwhile, where's the rest of the money? Because remember, she represented his estate, so his estate got to pay her. That's the conflict of interest. How is she in charge of business affairs and then still taking a check? It should be some type of, regulations on that where you say, okay, well, you will be in charge of just handling and paying the creditors, but you can't pay this man's creditors and still pay yourself out of his estate. What kind of shit is that, man?
Right.
So basically, you double dipping.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can cut deals with YouTube and say, you know what, I'll give y'all his whole catalog. Give me $10 million, and I'll make it to where Jay-Z don't get nothing, but give me $10 million under the table, and you get his whole catalog. And we'll throw Jay-Z an album or two to keep him from quiet, because Jay-Z was kind of like, I don't know if you guys really remember that, but he was real pissed off about that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, he spoke up.
And I remember that TMZ clip when he was like going through his house. Like it was almost like he knew somebody was like trying to take something from him or something. It was like he was like kind of like, you see how he was walking when they were showing that little clip at the end? I mean, when he was walking when he was coming in through his house, he was looking like he had like went in his closet like he was looking for something. Like I don't know if he thinking somebody trying to get his maybe get his masters or get some his hidden music he was talking about, all those songs. I don't know, but I mean, it was just kind of weird how everything happened because I remember seeing him at that Golden State Warriors and that Minnesota Timberwolves game live, and he didn't look like he was sick to me.
Right.
No. What was that? It was like a day before, right?
That was like a day. That was like in the April. It was like at the end of April. It was like right before the playoffs was about to start. That was the year when Golden State had first won. That's when Curry had played the Cleveland Cavaliers the first time. I think it was that season.
Plus, mentally, if he was sick, nobody ain't gonna the game.
The one lady said that she seen him ride his bike in a park. It's a park up there, and he would ride his bike in every morning. And the lady was saying he said hello and everything. It was like, he was like, he ain't look sick to me. Like,
let me shed some light into some areas that the public don't really get to hear, and they only dropped it probably one time and people forgot about it. When they said Prince died, they try to blame it on the prescription. Well, it's a video where it shows Prince going into his doctor, going into his doctor, and he sends the I don't know if it's security or whatever to go get his prescription. Now, within that time of him going to fill his prescription, you don't know what's being put in that fucking pill bottle. But they said it was one pill that he took that was from that prescription that was not assigned to buy from any doctor. So who put that pill in that pill box? Who had him take that? Why is his autopsy is a fucking cap on it for like 30 years or so? Why is that? Why can't people know about that? I mean, is a lot of suspicious things. And then like Dre said, I mean, he doesn't have a will. This man got all kind of properties in Minnesota and abroad, but he don't got no will. That don't make sense. How much money did they pay someone to say, hey, forget about that will? I'll pay you this much money to forget about that will. And they were going for it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Reed, don't Prince only have like a half sister or something like that? Like that's his only next of kin or something like that, right?
I mean, he got a full, a sister that they share the same mother and dad, but then he got half brothers and sisters. Like his dad was messing with other females, and he got half sisters and brothers or whatever on that tip. But one full blooded sister, and it's something recently came out about her too. They said something like she sold off her portion to some company to, I guess, market to his music more better. But to me, it's like you're just trying to get more money to out of whatever you're getting in like I said, essentially the allowance, because the people that drilled his vault were the essentially the bank, essentially the law firm that controls his estate and all that, to get all those albums and things. That's why I spoke on this recently. This last album that they put out, it has a lot of songs that Prince did that, if you look back, like think about it like this, if you go on, I'll say the Russian that interviews all the brothers and sisters, he got Morris Day on there. And essentially Morris Day was like a hired singer. So that means Prince wrote all the time stuff. He did all that. He wrote the songs and everything like that. So if you have watched any of those interviews, essentially when Purple Rain came out, Prince was paid $17 million and Morris Day got like $50,000. Now, I mean, if that's your boy, that's kind of a slap in the face if both of y'all essentially made the movie, like, performing in it. And when I say performing, like acting, not so much making the music, but that's kind of like, damn, that lets you know how much on business Prince was on. It's like, I produced all this music. The public don't know that. They think that you made it. But actuality, Prince was the one behind all of that shit.
Yeah. Damn. So yeah, that could be an enemy just in waiting, kind of like he got sent to. Because people sometimes envious like that.
Right.
I just feel like the industry don't like. I just feel like the industry in general don't like artists like that, like because you're a threat. Because you basically are, you yourself being an entity like that. You are a record label. You are a powerhouse.
Right.
By yourself. And I think that's just like if you're Michael Jackson, if you're Prince, if you Elvis, if you're the great whatever the people like the most, I think that alone just makes them feel like we can't own this dude if he owns himself. Like we gotta the only way we'll be able to just monetize him, he'll be better off dead for us.
Right.
We was talking about Dick Gregory.
It's scary.
We was talking about Dick Gregory before you came on, bro. And then Dick Gregory on one of his Real Black interviews, he was talking about Michael Jackson in that catalog. He said, "You can't own this. It's certain things that a black man can't own. You can't own it." No, he was talking about Cosby when Cosby tried to buy CBS
or NBC. Yeah.
Yeah, NBC. Yeah, and then Dick was like, "They'll kill you. You can't own this. You can't own the Beatles catalog. You can't own." He was talking about, in fact, he was talking about Cosby and Mike. And you notice they don't even talk about that. Basically, how the family, they kept that underneath the radars. How the family sold that catalog back to Sony for like $8 million. Now, that ain't nothing to sneeze at, but you got to think Mike never wanted to sell it. It was supposed to be like a family heirloom where that stays in the family perpetually. Like, don't nobody ever sell this.
Right.
This basically is going to take care of us for generations to come. Don't ever sell this.
And you know who took the deal? The daddy.
I thought it was the mom, but yeah. But it's like what you were saying though.
You know what? I might be wrong. They might.
But no, bro. It's kind of like
they might all agree behind his back though.
I was about to say, well, check this out. Or was they forced to sell it, basically, because, hey, you seen what we did to your son. You don't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might have been for strong-armed into selling that catalog. That's what I honestly think happened, Basically gave him that money and said, look, now, this is pennies to us. But we'll kill everybody, y'all have mysterious Death Star. We'll do y'all like how the Kennedy family has been done over the years,
And you see, they paid Janet off. Everybody went away quiet. They paid, you know what I'm saying? They paid. I think so too. They might have just paid them off. Like, here, y'all take it. Like you said, they forced them off of it and made them take the pay.
Right, because you think about it, before Michael Jackson sold, or I won't say he sold it, before it got out of his hands or out of his estate, none of that Beatles catalog was on. You couldn't download any of that music. You had to buy CDs for that. You couldn't just easily, download any of them songs. But after he died, you can get all that. It's all available.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he made you buy a license. Yep, because that ATV, it was Sony ATV Publishing. That was the name of his catalog. And Rick, you're right, because remember, every time, so even the artists that we don't even know about that's associated with them publishing companies, anytime their music is published, Mike got, some type of money from that. So they, like you're right, they sit up here and talk about, he broke, he ain't had no liquid. Y'all crazy. You know how many songs was in that catalog?
Right, but they got to keep painting this narrative. Just like, even if you check the Russian, he tries to run that whammy with Morris Davis. So, how long did you know that Prince had a drug problem? He didn't have a drug problem, motherfucker. What you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And how would you know if he did? You wouldn't know. No way. He ain't. Man, that dude is sketchy as hell, and tried to make a joke about how people think that I'm the feds, this and that. That's because you are.
Right. Like I said he's advanced. He probably ain't no Fed. He probably ain't no law enforcement. He's CIA or Mossad. He's one of those.
Right. One of the two. Right. Straight up, real talk. Just like how he gonna tell the one brother that I had seen a clip of it because it was on Hip Hop DX. The one brother that have like the real estate investment group and all that. I forget his name, but he gonna tell him.
Jay Morrison.
Yeah, Jay Morrison. He gonna tell him, I don't think that real estate is a good investment. I don't think that it's a good investment to him. To me, you just end up breaking even, right? But then interview because they did like it was on Hip Hop DX. It was like when a black man, the series that they have is called When a Black Man Says It, right? And so he had some other real estate investor on there and said, you know, I made my first millions, a non-melanated investor that is,
Right.
and Vlad was all on there. Oh yeah, man. I mean, this is pretty cool. You know, this is you know, gold stuff. This is what the listeners need to hear. But Jay Morrison said, "Oh, I don't think that it's against investors." You know, so it's like, man, they really get jealous whenever they see successful black people that ain't being controlled and own things. Yo, that's the point.
Right, but how I look at it, he doesn't talk to the people that subscribe to his background no kind of way like he talks to brothers. That's because they see brothers as less than human. That's why they can talk to him like that. And I don't know why brothers go on there and go for any of that shit. I would not be standing for that kind of shit at all.
Right. Yeah, they be wanting to, you know, doing whatever the label tell them to do. Or I think, and then like I heard him mention before, it's people that would pay to get on my platform and on my channel. And if you notice, this is the glowing sentiment, right? And if you listen to the undertones, right, he's upset that he can't get that one. Because if you think about it, he has never been able to interview anybody that I'm talking about as a fucking megastar.
Right.
Current megastar. And he's envious of the Jay-Z's, the Beyonce's, the people that they don't need your platform. They will be doing you a favor.
Right.
He envies them. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's the undertone. He envies anybody. Drake. How come Drake doesn't do interviews? Because he don't want to talk to you. You know, I'm doing you a favor. You're not doing me a favor.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he thinks that he has a grade A type of platform, but when somebody got their own streaming service, what the hell do I want to? If like I said, I'm literally doing you a favor because if I go on your platform, you can say you got a Jay-Z interview. No, I'm not granting you that. You know, it does nothing for me.
Right.
You know, it's just like the one brother that you have on your show that you said that he took one of his clips or something. And even though he said, I acknowledge, you know, the fact that he put my clip on his website, I said, hell no, he's supposed to cut you a check.
Right.
If it's, you know, the hell with that, because he threw you. It's like I'll throw the brother a bone. You know what I'm saying, by putting it on my platform. But if you listen to him, he have all of his shit. He say all of my shit is copywritten. All of my interviews is copywritten.
Mm-hmm.
So if you was to take a clip of his and put it on your website, it's coming down if he find out about it.
Right.
But he felt comfortable just to take that brother's clip. I don't know what it was of.
I want to say that funeral of Puffy's girl, whatever.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah. So he felt comfortable enough to take your clip and not compensate you for it. Like, oh, I could just use this. This fair use.
Right.
No,
but it ain't fair use if you use mine. See, the double standard ass shit.
Yeah, it ain't fair use. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, it's supposed to be fair use.
Man, we done covered them. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah, that's the kind of stuff. And then all of the rappers and all of the brothers that then got locked up from sitting their ass on that couch, you know, whether it be indirectly or directly, you know, but still, a lot of these guys are not seasoned to handle an interview like that because, you know, some guys might be excited. They think, oh, it's a big platform. It's going to help my career and stuff like that. But if you're not media trained and you don't know how to skate around questions that can incriminate you, you're going to be in for a long ride. Like that one brother, you know, I know James is from Philly, but that one brother that got locked up, AB, Arab, somebody, yeah. You know, he had that brother on there.
When that interview went off, I just shook my head. I said, man, I hope this dude finna move or something. I hope he done.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what was surprising about that, where he come from, because I'm down in the south, he in north, that ain't too far, and he should have had old heads around him, somebody to pull his coat to tell him chill out. He had a bunch of crash dummies and niggas that just listened. That was weird. Even his own homies, like, should have, man, listen, he just took a deal. He got 15.
Well, no, it's like what Rick was saying, though. If you really for the culture, as they like to say, oh, I'm in love with hip hop. You're gonna protect the artist. It's certain things that integrity can't buy. Me, uploading a video where somebody gonna incriminate themselves, that whole interview would have got edited to the point where people would have been able to see that I edited it.
Right.
You know,
I got a question, and I would like for you brothers to help me out with this. Now, is he wrong for that? Because didn't nobody put a gun in nobody's head.
Nobody put it. It's like I just said. Certain things, your integrity. If I know you saying some stuff that can get you locked up, bro, my integrity, I don't want to see you locked up.
Right.
I know that's me taking you away from your family. I'm not going to upload no video for no shock value and views. I'm just not going to do it. That's integrity. See, it's certain things, man, where your integrity kicks in over money. That's why Dame Dash and cats like that is a big threat, because they not going to do anything for no money. I'm not pressed by no money, you know.
See, and my thing, what I was upset about is, when we know the history of these motherfuckers, why are you even still going up there sitting on that couch?
Because he pays for interviews. See, that's what.
It just point back to the finger.
He don't even pay them. He wasn't even paying them.
I'm with Rico on that. I don't care what he say. He paying.
Yeah, he paying for that shit.
He paying for them interviews.
Right.
He might lie.
No, I don't think he's saying that.
It depends on what type of person he is. I'm gonna tell y'all, I listen to Corey Holcomb a lot, right? And he's been trying to get Corey Holcomb on for the last 2 years. And if you listen to what Corey was saying, Corey was like, look, dude, I don't, you know, he said it in so many words. He like, look, I don't do free interviews. He was like, you know, I have a brand, and if people want to listen to me, they can listen to the 5150 show. That's my show. But to go sit on somebody's couch to be interviewed, I need to be compensated. So what he counter offered, he said, okay, if I come on your show, you got to come do the 5150 show. And you know, the Russian, I don't do interview. I'm just behind the camera. I don't really like to, you know, my private life is my private life. So Corey was like, oh, okay, then no deal. We don't have a deal. You know?
But he's a liar because he went to go do it with Adam 22. So that's a liar.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. You gotta watch him too. See, a lot of these guys, whenever they come around us, all you gotta do is go to them Twitter accounts and see who they follow. And that dude, he follow like Proud Boys, he follow Sean Hannity, he follow a bunch of racist motherfuckers. So to me, a lot of people don't know that. The Proud Boys, what's that other dude, Jason Louder with Crowder, that dude, he follow all of these motherfuckers that have so much negative shit to say about black men in particular. So you so hip-hop and you so, yeah, man, I've always been interested in hip-hop.
Right.
You know, giving people a shout. But your political views is lined up with people who don't like hip-hop at all and hold this type of fucked up stereotypical sentiment as it relates to black people, you know?
You know when I was done with us, as far as with that dude platform, because I thought this shit was about to go down. He just uploaded a bunch of videos. He just went on a roll for like the past month. I was surprised I even seen Matt Barnes on his couch.
Oh yeah,
Matt Barnes is
like
dropping details that he should have put in the book. He was talking about family shit.
Yeah, but it's like Rick was just saying, bro. I don't care. Like you, Matt Barnes, they just got him and Steven Jackson just got a deal with Showtime, right? Where they got their own podcast. Yeah. You think Matt Barnes did that interview for free? But the way the Russian would portray it, he would make it seem like, oh, I just got such great a platform, and it's so popular that people want to come on here and talk for an hour to 2 hours for free. Stop it. Come on, man.
Right.
It's like you just said. If I'm already famous. I played in the NBA. I got close to 1 million followers and all of that. Your platform, I help you. You don't help me. I'm helping you. So you gotta pay me for this interview.
Right. Now, peep out how it makes sense where I'm coming from with this, where you can kind of understand it. If you're coming on my platform and you're just coming on just showing love, that means I'm showing you love. By when I ask you questions, they're not so much softball, but it's nothing that's going to be incriminating. But if I pay you, that means you got to take all the shit I give you because I paid you to come on here to basically for shock value, you know?
I never thought of it like that. You're absolutely right. I never thought of it like that. Wow.
Yeah. And for James, though, I will say this, bro. You're right. Unfortunately, a lot of young brothers.
Dre. That's Malik. James got off. Yeah.
My bad. Malik. You're right when you say a lot of guys. Unfortunately, these young brothers, they don't have proper OG management around them because your publicist is supposed to really pre-screen the interview anyway. Look, I don't want my artist. I don't want him talking about this. Don't ask no questions about this. Don't ask no questions about that. You can ask some controversial questions, but if I'll reserve the right to stop the interview at any time if I feel as if you questioning my artist's integrity or his public image, and I reserve the right to edit the tape or to take the tape is confiscated.
Now let me ask you this. This is what I was confused about. I was the same thing you saying right now. I was confused about the R. Kelly interview that he did with the lady Gail. Why ain't nobody step in and stop that?
That girl should have been prosecuted. Check this out. That girl went on his show and said, and this is how you know all of that shit was a setup. Now, I ain't condoning it. If R. Kelly did that shit, he did that shit, man. You got to go to jail. You got to own up for what you did. So I'm not condoning that. Right. But if the girl said that she was of age and they both had sex with a minor, she's supposed to be in that indictment with R. Kelly as well because she had already admitted it. So where's her charging order at? That's what I'm saying. It's like, and I'm telling y'all, man, that you get your master's back 35 years, right, after, you release. I don't care what nobody say. They're going to take R. Kelly masters too, all his publishing, all of that, man. It really, man, it's that music industry. They do not want you walking away getting out clean with the masters, man. They really do not want that.
But I heard from what I heard, he never owned it.
Well, he damn sure not gonna own him now, because you got to think, if the victims come forward civilly and they sue him civilly, if he convicted, which he is unfortunately going to be convicted of, but they can come back and sue him civilly. So let's say, for instance, if R. Kelly got to go down for the next 20, 25 years, 30 years max, right? And they say, okay, well, we sued him civilly, so you got a $50 million judgment. Even if he was to collect his masters and his royalties and start putting them on streaming services, if he get a judgment against him, man, he ain't never gonna see that money. It's man, I'm saying it right now, man. They did a number on R. Kelly right now to the point that R. Kelly pretty much gonna die destitute if he don't have like a super fan that's gonna step in and say, well, you know what, I'm gonna hold him down and and things of that nature.
Now, I just heard through the news that they even just came for Dame Dash for like rape for his older sister or something, a white chick.
He had the video. Did you see the video he released? I seen that. It came across my YouTube channel. He had a video, and he like, man, clearly it's like that's. But see, that's the type of shit that I think that it's so egregious to the point that where he should, sue her and counterclaim and sue her for everything she got to prove a point, even though she might not have nothing, but at least put liens on her shit, because it's like, I got you on tape. You try to steal from me, and then now you're gonna double back and say that somebody sexually assaulted you, which is probably far from the truth. Given the video that he released, it shows him with his old lady and stuff like that, and it's like, man, it's clearly like if he got the chick he with, and you look at her, man, come on, I gotta rape you. I'm with a nice little eye candy piece on my arm right now, but I gotta rape you. What sense is that? Like, seriously.
But think about it. They always throw I was gonna say they always throw this rape stuff to try to cancel out people. Because think about it. That's when Pac was out, they did the same thing with him, and he was just around people that was accused of doing it. He wasn't even the one accused of raping anybody.
Yep. Right. And hold on, but hey, now that I mentioned that though, now that you mentioned that, Reed, peep this out. For years, people was even trying to get in contact with that girl who had said that Pac did this, that, and the third to her. And all of a sudden, who got an interview, a 2-hour interview with her?
Right.
People was like, how the hell you find her? People was trying to find that girl for years.
Right.
People were trying to interview her for years. And you find
nobody knew what she looked like the last year.
Exactly. Nobody even knew how she looked.
But that's because he got connections with the Bureau. Think about it. Remember when he said, I got these cops I interview, and when Trench walked off that joint, like, no, I don't want to hear that. That ain't how it went down. You motherfuckers is lying.
Right. Sit up there and, man, but these brothers, they gotta just start getting sharp. Just because something is popular don't mean that it's right for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we going into in another 24 hours. We going to a whole another decade. I mean, sometimes I've been thinking about this for the past week. I mean, 2020 gonna be a serious year for all of us, man.
I believe it.
I know, people say every year this is no. I think 2020, man, it's in the air. I feel it, man. It's gonna be a defining year. Like this is like our last. This is like it's like now or never for us melanated brothers, man, because they throwing us in the blender, and it's like
I think this gotta be this. You're right. This is gonna be one of the most important decades I think for melanated brothers in a very, very long time. I'm talking about like. This might just be now or never. And it's like you said, I think we all can feel the energy. You know, the energy is going to start off 2020 right.
I believe it.
You know, I'm just glad to see a lot of brothers ain't really going for the okie doke no more. We are starting to question stuff and be like, no, you said this, but now you saying that, but you just twisting it. See, they ain't getting us with that whole, just tell them something and keep repeating it, and maybe they'll go along with the trends. It is a lot of brothers out here now they getting real hip, and they like, no, I don't want to be on no video cameras talking about nothing that's going to incriminate me, period.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It ain't even now. I mean, now we living in the time now where it ain't even so much incrimination as far as criminal. Now you getting people just saying stuff like simple stuff like how they feel about certain stuff. You lose your job or you lose your. It's like, man, like like 20, 30 years ago, if you could just like, for example, I don't want to use the word to offend nobody, but just like I was talking to my old man. He like 55, 56. I remember he was saying back in the gap like. Back then, if you call somebody a punk, they're just, that's just what that was. So if you call somebody a punk, that's just what that is. Nobody wouldn't be like, oh, that guy should lose his job. You can't say that about them. Or you can't call that guy a fag. Or you can't
That's
say,
bullying now.
Like, that's bullying now. Like, he was like, everybody's so sensitive. He was like, I don't know if that's the internet or what made everybody go into that mode to where now. I mean, if you said it 20 years ago, they just laugh it off. But now if you say it, it's like, oh, this guy's life needs to be ruined because,
Yeah, because what it is like they're trying to change mindsets now. It's like, no, you can't think like this. This is wrong. This is the wrong way to think.
They want to normalize abnormal behavior.
It seems like every time we winning, trying to pull us back 10 yards.
Yeah. They really don't want families, and it's a whole community that call themselves, and I'll be politically correct, but the LBGT community, in my opinion, they don't like normalized behaviors such as families. A family structure is a big threat, in my opinion, to that community because it goes along the lines that. Go ahead. My bad. You go. You go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask you, can I chime in? I don't know if y'all noticed, but on the Russian channel, he posted Big Gift. Posting heterosexual Pride Day, and he was showing like the internet went crazy. Like they told his Twitter handle or whatever he said.
Hold on, time out. You said Big Gift?
Yeah, Big Gift.
That's the dude that was with the Goody Mob.
Yeah, he had posted.
He been doing Big Gift. He been riding waves. So I've been noticing him for a while. He been doing this type shit.
And he posted it when people were mad at him.
He on everybody.
But why would people get mad at him for showing a man, a woman, and a kid? That's how you was born.
I read that one. I'm sorry.
That's a big threat, man. They do not like that. Anything is normal.
He had posted a heterosexual Pride Day. Heterosexual, normal, basically normal.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that one.
And the internet got mad, like they got offended. Like, what the hell are you doing? That's so offensive. Blah, blah, blah. How is that offensive? That's how everybody was born. What the hell are y'all talking about?
Oh, wow.
So you telling me that they control the minds, bro? Like, that's time for shit.
Wow.
That's
like you just said, everybody is offended nowadays. And then you ask them, what you offended about?
The way you were born.
Right.
About the way you were born. That's crazy. They can make you become offended. by the process the way you were born, basically. Because they got mad at him for posting it, basically saying, that's anti, what we was pushing.
But see, that's what I'm saying though. You see how the dude will he'll post something like that though to get a reaction and create all of this tension, but he ain't caring about how that brother, how it might affect him. You know, and I say for instance, if that dude had like an endorsement deal or something, and then the company because they getting a bunch of backlash, and because dude wants shock value for his platform, he might get his endorsement deal canceled because of that dude. You see what I'm saying?
I think Manny Pacquiao got his endorsement deal canceled with Nike because he said some shit like that.
Yeah, see, man.
You also remember Manny Pacquiao was with Nike. They pulled his deal.
Yeah, I seen. You remember Reebok? Pulled Rick Ross deal for that Molly and her drink lyrics. So see, you can't even say stuff like you just can't say something. I mean,
I'm shocked that they did that. Usually they like that kind of stuff. If we talking about putting everybody on codeine, popping pills, Xanax, I'm shocked they like that.
Yeah, they like that. Like the chick Lizzo that was at the Lakers game and showed her ass. The general manager of the Lakers, she was walking back anytime. They like that shit. You're right. They like she's walking back. Do it again.
Me and Reek would have did that at the Lakers or the Clippers game. We get arrested.
Oh, you're going to jail.
Right. And you're going to be a sex offender.
Shoot. Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to register as a sex offender, too. You're right.
They gonna make up new charges on a nigga.
That's called double standard again.
Oh yeah, but they like that because that's just straight exploitation at its finest. They can use her as like a gimmick and a mascot, and that's just shock value. Once again, shock value.
Yeah. Shock value.
Now we can you wanna pay an extra $300 to sit in the seat that Lizzo has sat in. Them is all marketing, man. They don't care.
Right.
They like to have us, portrayed in media like a damn fool. The girl got her ass out, literally.
That'll be the first thing if you work a job, you come on your job. Hey, did you see Liz? I don't care about that bullshit. Don't ask me about no goofy ass shit like that.
Oh yeah,
that was the bullshit. Like I don't think it's a black man that even we looked at that shit like bitch.
Exactly.
Every time I kept hearing people say Rikishi from fucking WWF. Right.
Stank ass. Literally got a big sloppy stank looking ass too out. Like, come on, man.
No, she just said that just.
Man, but we've been on 121 minutes. I'm glad that y'all brothers came in and chimed in. I think hopefully we done imparted some wisdom that some people have been missing. Hopefully people catching the replay tomorrow or whenever they catch it, they'll be like, man, I need to come and chime in on this. Might have to do a part 3 or something like that.
Yeah, it was some good dialogue, man. It was definitely, man. Definitely.
With that being said, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Matter of fact, y'all shout out y'all's channel so people can go and subscribe to y'all's joints too. Go ahead. Whoever wants to start first, go ahead with it.
I'm thinking out loud. This is Malik in Philly thinking out loud. So if you see it pop up in the comments on Reed channel, mess with me.
Yeah, okay.
This was a
time traveler, man.
This was Dre Chili speaking with you guys and Reek tonight, and I appreciate it if you guys can subscribe to my channel and whatnot and check me out as well.
Most definitely.
Oh, already did that.
Huh. You won't go wrong with. Matter of fact, I know you said you was putting up some new content.
Next time you coming back on?
I don't know. I might try to come back tomorrow. I don't know. Hopefully they ain't messing with y'all getting notifications. That's the only time I don't want to be on if y'all ain't getting the notifications because it's like I'm talking to myself or something. I don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, I know tomorrow New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then I ain't coming on tomorrow. I might take a break. Maybe
Oh, they gonna run.
yeah, it might be New Year's Day. I'll come back or
We see
something
you on
like that.
first.
Right,
There you
right,
go. That'll be a dope show on the
right.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
First
Start
of the
with that
month, like
killer.
bone. We'll do it like that.
No doubt. But man, I really enjoyed tonight chopping it up with all y'all brothers, man, and everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, Dre, where you at, Dre? Where you calling from?
I'm in Arizona. Yeah.
Oh, AZ. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I heard AZ untapped. Niggas need to get out there, man.
It's untapped, but you gotta tread lightly. It's a lot of things that you can get away with back east. That if you come out west, I'll put it to you like this: certain vehicles and it's just fucked up because it's a lot of racism out here still. So it's just you got to move a certain way, man. It's just certain things that's a whole other subject, man. We should call that one moving around.
Last question. What's the black population like out there?
It's actually grown a lot. I want to say the last 15 years, like the greater Phoenix area, been like damn near, I would say South Phoenix is kind of like 60% black. It's a lot of black people out there. We just scatter. Exactly. We just scatter. That's what it is. So it's like, whereas like in Philly, the north, South Philly, you see us. Whereas out here in Arizona, we out here, but we scatter. So it's like it's not one main black population settled in one particular area.
Yeah, it depends on what's
48% Philly. It's damn near 50% over here.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Well,
okay.
Matter of fact, let me shut it down. If y'all want to keep going after the going after I shut down the live, I'm shutting down the live right now, but we still continue. Hold up.